My eyes burned as I stared at the photo. Their interlaced fingers dominated the screen. A memory surfaced. 2 years ago, Dr. Simon had issued a clinical directive to ease Gemma's severe anxiety and depression. At least a 10-minute hug every day with Riker. At first, Riker despised it. He would literally set a timer on his phone. The second the 10 minutes ended, he would sprint to the bathroom and scrub his skin raw under scalding water. He used to bury his face in my neck, whining about how he couldn't stand being that close to anyone but me. I didn't notice when the timer stopped. I didn't notice when holding her hand and pulling her into his chest became second nature. By then, he was touching my sister far more than he touched me. My thumb hovered over the keyboard. I typed out a quick text. Get here soon. The courthouse closes at noon. In my periphery, Arlo's digital hourglass bled out another 2 large chunks of sand. 2 hours gone. I stood shivering at the intersection. It was the only route to the courthouse. I would spot him the second he turned the corner. I checked my screen again. Left on read. The sand slipped faster. It was almost noon. Then, a massive matte black G-Wagon idled at the distant red light. License plate, 888. Riker. My heart slammed against my ribs. I practically jumped off the curb, my freezing fingers tightly crushing the ultrasound printout in my pocket. Riker had the classic tragic backstory, orphaned young, forced to build his empire from nothing. He craved family more than anything. Every night, when the lights were out and our bodies were tangled together, he would drag his lips across my lower stomach. Give me a baby, Maeve. His voice would drop into that dark, raspy register. I was going to hand him the sonogram the second we signed the marriage certificate. A genuine smile finally broke across my numb face. I stepped toward the street to wave him down. The G-Wagon's engine roared. He didn't brake. The heavy tires tore through a puddle of icy slush, spraying dirty, freezing water directly across my face and coat. My jaw dropped. My trembling fingers fumbled with my phone, accidentally hitting the video call button. It connected instantly. Riker was on the screen. His knuckles were bone white as he gripped the steering wheel. His jaw was clenched so tight the muscle ticked frantically. What is it, Maeve? He ground out, his voice unnaturally tight. I'm busy. You just drove right past the courthouse. I stammered, swiping freezing slush from my eyelashes. It's almost noon. I've been waiting out here for hours. Riker didn't answer. His heavy brows snapped together. A sudden, guttural groan ripped from the back of his throat. He quickly masked it with a series of muffled, forced coughs. Maeve, I think I'm coming down with something, he wheezed. I need to hit a CVS for a mask. Don't want to get you sick. He looked terrible. A bead of sweat slid down his flushed temple. His chest heaved with short, ragged breaths. His Adam's apple bobbed sharply as he swallowed hard. My chest immediately tightened with worry. Pull over. Let me take you to the ER first, then we can. A sound cut me off. A high-pitched, breathy whimper. A woman's gasp, echoing clearly inside the cabin of his truck. Look, I gotta go. Riker's voice cracked, dropping an octave. I'm rushing to get Gemma those exclusive pastries from that bakery she likes. Just wait for me. I'll be there soon. Riker, did he completely forget that I had been waiting out here all morning? The phone fumbled. The camera jerked downwards, the lens diving toward his lap. My lungs stopped expanding. In that fractured second of blurry footage, I saw a pair of delicate hands. They were gripping the heavy leather of Riker's belt. On the left ring finger, a diamond sparkled. My wedding band. Call ended. The screen went black. Ice instantly flooded my veins. A phantom hand shoved its way down my throat, twisting my insides into a sickening knot. The street noise vanished into a deafening, high-pitched ring. I refused to breathe. I refused to let the image process in my brain. My thumbs struck the screen, shattering the silence with forceful, erratic taps. The courthouse closes at 5 p.m. I am not leaving this spot. Do not forget what today is, Riker. You promised me. I collapsed onto the concrete curb. My eyes were glued to the phantom hourglass suspended in the air. One chunk of sand dropped at 1 p.m., followed by another agonizing plummet at 3 p.m. Hours bled into the freezing rain until the final grains for the afternoon began to slip away. It was almost 5. The courthouse doors were shutting. My legs were completely numb, heavy blocks of ice. I dragged my freezing body up the marble steps, pressing my shoulder against the heavy glass doors. If Riker pulled up right now, we could still sprint inside. My shaking thumbs hit his contact name again. The subscriber you are calling is currently unavailable. Straight to voicemail. His phone was off. Ding. A notification slashed across my screen. The family group chat. Gemma had uploaded a video. Riker was in our kitchen. His sleeves were rolled up over his thick forearms, expertly tossing a heavy skillet over an open flame. Gemma tagged me. Don't worry, Maeve. Riker got me home safe. Come back and eat. He made garlic butter shrimp. Bruce and Lorraine immediately spammed the chat. Now that is a real man. Knows exactly how to take care of his girl. Careful, honey. You just got out of the hospital. Don't eat anything too greasy. Another video popped up. Riker was pouring a splash of white wine into the pan, his deep, resonant laugh filling the kitchen. Don't worry, Bruce, Lorraine. His voice was warm and entirely stress-free. I made a special, light version just for Gemma's stomach. A physical spike drove right through my temples. I am violently allergic to shrimp. He forgot. He forgot my allergy, and he forgot our wedding day. The sky broke open. Icy rain poured down in sheets, instantly soaking through my thin sweater. Through the blur of freezing rain, the heavy courthouse doors swung shut. The interior lights flicked off. The final couple walked down the steps, huddled laughing under a shared umbrella, waving their marriage certificate. My wet shoe slipped on the slick marble. I slammed onto the concrete, my knees tearing open on the rough stone. A ragged, ugly sob ripped out of my throat. The freezing rain and the stinging cuts on my legs were absolutely nothing compared to the violent shredding inside my chest. I curled into a tight ball, wrapping both arms protectively over my flat stomach. The courthouse is closed, I gasped, choking on rainwater and tears. Arlo, are the baby and I going to die? A sharp, metallic static buzzed in my frontal lobe. Due to courthouse operational constraints, an alternative mission parameter has been unlocked. Arlo's robotic voice echoed. Secure a verbal promise of marriage from Riker before the countdown expires. The hourglass shattered and reformed. 3 chunks of sand remained. Less than 3 hours. I sprinted all the way home. I shoved the front door open, water dripping from my matted hair. The breath vanished from my lungs. Riker's massive frame was on the floor, on his hands and knees. Gemma was sitting straddled across his lower back, giggling uncontrollably. I froze. A hollow, broken laugh spilled from my lips. Years ago, I had tried to jump on his back like that. He had flicked my forehead, his tone firm and serious. A man doesn't bow for anyone, Maeve. I'm not a pony ride. But for her, the rules shattered. Bruce and Lorraine were lounging on the sofa, grinning at the domestic scene. Bruce's smile vanished the second he saw my soaked, shivering frame. Why the hell are you back so late? He snapped. Your dinner is cold. Clean up the kitchen when you're done. Riker's laughter died in his throat. He immediately stood up, catching Gemma by the waist to set her down gently. Maeve, look, I'm sorry about today. Riker. I cut him off. My trembling fingers reached into my soaked pocket and pulled out the crumpled, water-stained ultrasound printout. I'm pregnant. The living room plunged into a dead silence. My eyes locked onto his. Will you marry me? I choked out, my voice raw and desperate. Just say yes. Promise me right now, and I will forgive every single thing you did today. Riker turned to stone. His jaw slacked. His Adam's apple bobbed sharply as he swallowed, but no sound came out. Bruce and Lorraine leaped off the sofa. Lorraine lunged forward, slapping her hands tightly over Gemma's ears. Maeve, have you lost your damn mind? Lorraine screamed, her face flushed with fury. Your sister literally just got discharged. You are trying to trap him into a marriage with a fake pregnancy? Bruce roared, stepping aggressively toward me. Are you actively trying to kill your sister? I'm not lying. I refused to look at them. My eyes stayed ruthlessly pinned to Riker's frozen face. It felt like an eternity before Riker finally spoke. His gaze never left Gemma's deathly pale face. Of course I will, he forced the words out. But you know Gemma's mental state right now. She can't handle us getting married. Total silence from Arlo. The deafening, rhythmic tick-tock in my skull didn't even skip a beat. I threw myself forward, my shaking fingers digging into his forearm. Riker, please. The desperation clawed at my throat. Just for the baby. Just mean it. Ask me to marry you, and mean it. Just once. He wrenched his arm away. A deep crease formed between his heavy brows. Maeve, stop pushing it, he snapped, pure annoyance bleeding into his tone. I said I'd marry you, but I'm not doing this right now. You know she literally cannot survive without me. Gemma shoved past Bruce and Lorraine. She dropped to her knees right in front of me. Heavy, theatrical tears tracked down her cheeks. Maeve, stop lying to manipulate him. Her voice was a fragile whisper. You already know, don't you? You know I'm the one pregnant with his baby. Static exploded behind my eyes as my desperate gaze snapped from Riker to Bruce, and finally to Lorraine. I searched their faces for a shred of shock or outrage, but found nothing but a chilling, rehearsed blankness. Riker reached down, hauling Gemma up and instantly tucking her against his chest. His dark eyes locked onto mine. Are you really that shocked? He enunciated every single word. You're the one who begged me to take care of her. The syllables hit the air weightless, but the impact tore straight through my ribs. Bile burned the back of my throat. I collapsed onto the hardwood, my stomach convulsing as I dry heaved over the floorboards. I grabbed the hem of his jeans, completely unhinged. So you're taking responsibility for her? I shrieked, my vocal cords tearing. What about me? What about our baby? He kicked his leg back, breaking my grip. The temperature in the room plummeted. Back off, he roared. Even if you are pregnant too, Gemma is my only priority right now. If I leave her, she will literally die. A vicious cramp twisted through my lower abdomen. I curled inward, watching helplessly as he swept Gemma into his arms. He carried her straight into our master bedroom, his deep voice dropping to a gentle murmur, coaxing her to stop crying. Lorraine grabbed my upper arm. Her acrylic nails dug deep into my flesh as she dragged me out onto the freezing balcony. Maeve, do you know why she collapsed today? Lorraine hissed, her eyes bloodshot. Because she's pregnant and the guilt is eating her alive. Can you just be the bigger person for once? You can find another guy. Gemma cannot function without Riker. I stared at the woman who gave birth to me. Hot, blinding tears blurred my vision. But I'm pregnant. What about my baby? Bruce stepped onto the balcony, letting out a heavy, exhausted sigh. Get an abortion, Maeve. We're begging you. We cannot survive losing Gemma again. Above their heads, the digital hourglass bled its final grains.